Tonight, or I guess I should say today, we're going to welcome you to week number 8 in your final project. Today we're talking about tips to help you ace your final assignment video presentation. That's the one where you're pitching a proposal to your county leadership. It could be your county manager, your county executive, whatever that might be. Ultimately, this is a high-stakes simulation. Think of it of your moment in front of a county manager or a county board member. So let's get into it. So first impressions are going to count. Your introduction should clearly state your topic and preview your key messages. Don't waste time with generic openings, or instead try to get an attention grabber that compels an interest. This could be like a stat, or it could be a real world scenario, or it could be a bold question. I'll give you an example. Madam Mayor, imagine a 911 call goes unanswered because a staffing shortfall. My proposed budget ensures that that never happens. The idea is to get an attention grabber to get people interested in the topic. So remember, you got to stay focused. You only have 10 minutes, so your body needs to be lean and focused. Stick to 3 or 4 main points, such as the problem you need, or what you're addressing, what the budget funds are and why, expected outcomes or impact, which is really important, and return on investment or cost efficiency. Now, we've talked throughout the entire session about the zero-based budget and being able to identify the connection between your strategic plan and your 5-year plan and how critically important that is. Make sure that you make these connections as you go through your presentation. Again, I would recommend that you use 4 to 5 credible sources at a minimum and cite them clearly in your speaker notes and on a separate reference page as noted. You'll also need a page that shows which sources support which slide. That's important. So don't just drop a source in a slide. Say things like, according to the Department of Justice, 2023, agencies that implemented this change saw a 28% improvement in response efficiency. In other words, as you go through the slide presentation, introduce the research that you've done and apply it within the slide so that it's very clear, as I've said in some of the comments before, so it's explicit as to what this pertains to. For 2 points. One is you're going to produce this slide deck. You would give it to the county board or executive. And 2, they need to go back to the references that you've provided to them to do follow-up that they may have. Other thing is keep your PowerPoint really clean. So when I say clean, minimal. Each slide should have 1 or 2 key points, no full sentences or paragraphs. Use visuals, charts, graphs, even icons to clarify, not clutter. Avoid reading your slides. Your delivery and speaker notes or do all the heavy lifting. And that's a really important one. If you identify key topical points that you want to talk about, and then you present them so that their focus is on you and not on the slide deck, but they're listening to what you're saying as it relates to those key points, it makes it much stronger. And then you want to finish with impact. You want to have a really strong conclusion. Don't fade out. Wrap it up with clarity and power. Recap your key points and leave your audience with a final thought on how to call what you've just recommended into action. So I'll give you maybe a sample that might sound something like this. With this budget, we don't just meet the need, we lead the way in a smart, accountable way for public safety. The idea is to leave a final impression. And generally speaking, it's the last thing that somebody hears that somebody's going to remember. So make sure your structure is clear, an intro, body, and conclusion, and that your transitions guide your audience. Practice until your delivery is smooth, confident, and natural. Watch your rate, tone, and eye contact. Don't memorize, just know your message well enough so that you can speak to it with purpose. So, all right, you've got this. Focus on clarity, confidence, and connection. Remember, this isn't just about getting a grade. It's about showing that you can lead, explain, and advocate with impact. Good luck And remember, preparation turns pressure into performance. Thanks.